Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'll be talking about Richter and Castlevania Nocturne Season 2. So if you haven't watched this season, I highly recommend that you hop on Netflix, check it out, and then come back so we can further discuss. Also, it really helps the channel if you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Just this week alone, I've actually seen an influx of subscribers. People are more engaged, so it's looking like you guys are really liking my Castlevania content. So if you do, please stick around. There'll be more videos to come in the coming weeks. And yeah, let's get started. So Richter Belmont, he's another character, and similar to Maria, where in season one, like I liked him, but he just wasn't in my top five. Like y'all know who my top five is, like Mizrak, Olrox, Drolta, Annette on occasion. You know what I'm saying? So Richter unfortunately kind of took the back burner. That was not the case in season two. There was a level of just ferocity and kind of like standing on business about Richter that I really appreciated in season two that we didn't necessarily get in season one. And I know season one was a lot of him kind of finding himself and not getting over, but overcoming his past and really leaning into the fact that he is a Belmont and that he does have the Belmonte's magical abilities, because I believe they were sealed in season one. He finally unlocked them. So in season two, he's like kind of basically coming into his own, and he's not as hesitant to step into his new power. One thing that I really appreciated in season two is that they kind of sprinkled it in season one, but him and Annette kind of have like a budding romance, and I feel like it was paced out pretty well. It wasn't too rushed. I do feel like in season one it was kind of like, okay, do they like each other? Are they flirting? Are we misreading it? It wasn't as clear as it was with my boy Mizrak and Olrox. Like that was like clear as day that they liked each other. Annette and Richter was a little more like, okay, it could go two ways. Either they'll become a couple or they'll be like, comrades in arms, right? But no, you actually get to see like the slowly but surely like the development of the relationship. One thing that really stood out to me the most about Richter in this season is he is kind of just like going for it. I'm talking like romantically with Annette. He's being very direct, like with his flirting and just not hiding the fact that he likes her. And one thing that I think we could have had more screen time with him fighting. Like we got it, like when they fought Ursabet and when they finally ended up killing Jolta, like we definitely got to see like him in combat. But I think in season two we didn't get to see enough of like the magical abilities on display like we did at the end of season one when he was like fighting Ursabet. Granted, he did get bodied, but you could tell like, oh snap, like he's gotten like really strong. We didn't really get too many opportunities in season two to see that until the end. I will say I'm really curious because I really assumed that Juiced Belmont was gonna get killed off somehow, and that was gonna help kind of trigger more magical abilities, and they didn't go that route. Like Juice and Richter tag teamed against Ursabet. Well, actually it was Juiced, Annette, who am I missing, Maria. It was like the whole squad was like jumping Ursabet, but I was really expecting Juice to be kind of like that, like the Jiraiya here, where like he kind of mentored Richter and now it's time for him to pass the torch, and they didn't go that route. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Sometimes when it comes to storytelling, I feel like we can predict how things are going to go, and Castlevania Nocturne has kind of flipped me, in the opposite direction with some of the things that I thought they were going to go with. I will say that, after everything wrapped up at the end of the season, I will say that moment that Alucard let him use his sword, I forget the name of the sword, I'll probably look it up, that way I can get the name and I can name drop it next video, but Alucard let him use his sword, and he infused it with like his magical abilities, and that like one shot that he did to Drolta was one of the coolest animated things that I've seen in a while. And it's like very typical of like the Castlevania animators to have like those big moments. It reminded me of when Trevor fought Death, and kind of like that big scene, like where almost like the animation gets a little distorted, and like it just seems like it feels like a big boss fight, right? So I think that they did a really good job kind of bringing that home. My only complaint, and I said this in a couple of videos, especially about Drolta, is like I just wish that we had more time. Although, like, I'm a filthy Dragon Ball fan, so like I'm used to things or fights taking, 100 episodes to wrap up, and they've condensed that big battle into like I think 20 minutes. So I think that we could have just got that fight 2 or 3 episodes. That way we can really see what he can do. If we do get a season 3, and I say if because Netflix can be very unpredictable with their shows. Like I was surprised that we even got. I know the first Castlevania did really well. I think we got 4 seasons, but I was surprised that we got a season 2 of Nocturne. Just because I feel like Nocturne, I'm a big fan, but I think overall it's got mixed reviews. So I was surprised that we had a season 2. So if we get a season 3, I would love to see how things are working out. I know they're going to, they call it something else in the show, but it's basically Haiti. I would love to see how Richter and Nanette's relationship blossoms, and I would love to see what type of like creatures and vampires and just otherworldly things that they'll run into while they're in Haiti. Like I feel like there's just so much that they can work with. I mean, there was a moment when they were kind of on the ocean and they were basically trying to find one of Sekhmet's additional like either body parts or one of her soul fragments. And I don't think we've been on the ocean in the Castlevania series, and like that was like a whole like ocean monster, right? So I'm curious if there's other monsters and deities out there that we just haven't seen yet. Like they can get so creative. I don't know where we can go from here. And again, I didn't play the games. I've said this in multiple videos. I only played the one game on Nintendo 64, and I want to say that was Trevor and Sypha's game. So I'm not aware of like any of the Belmonts, and I did play Super Smash Brothers, so I know there's multiple Belmonts. I think Richter is actually in the game in Super Smash Brothers, and I think Trevor is too. So yeah, that's as far as my Castlevania like knowledge goes. So I'm kind of playing the guessing game, and I'm kind of going, or I'm watching the show like for the first time, like from that lens. I don't have like any preconceived notions. I will say that a prequel series would be pretty cool, focusing more on Dracula, because like where is he? I mean, I don't think he's dead. And like that's a rant for a whole different other video. We'll get into that about Dracula and like kind of like what my thoughts on like where he's actually at. I know Alucard referred to him as being like that he basically said that he killed his father, but that's only because Dracula and his wife never, it seems to me like they never went back and talked to him. So that's kind of sad that never happened. But getting back to Richter, I also like the fact that he stood on business with Olrox. Olrox is my favorite. I really don't want them fighting, but I understand like Olrox did kill his mom, and that debt needs to be paid. But I do like the fact that he said like, hey, I will kill you, just not today. So it was like, all right. And I feel like in that moment, Richter could have killed Olrox. In that moment, I still feel like Olrox is a bit more powerful than what he's letting on. Granted, I think in the big fight with Drolta, like I do believe that Olrox is definitely trying his best, and he was holding it down. And Olrox definitely started off this season like he was the big bad, the big antagonist. So naturally speaking, like it would make sense for him to be the villain in season 3, or just kind of take focus. So I'm curious to see like when they do have that showdown, what it's going to look like, because unfortunately we really took a liking to Olrox. Well, I did, and I kind of want him and Mizrak to just run off in the sunset and just be in hiding. Maybe one of Richter's great grandkids can like kill him eventually, right? But I don't want to see those two fight it out, especially considering how much Olrox has kind of helped Richter. I know it's weird to say because again, this is the man that killed his mom, but there's nuances, and the villain that we're seeing as a villain, we've now kind of seen like their backstory and they humanize him a bit. But then I also sympathize with Richter and I understand where he's coming from. So I appreciate the fact that he's standing on business. Curious to see how that's going to play it out in season 3 if we get one. But let me know what your thoughts are. What would you like to see in season 3? Like, how would you like to see him go about taking his revenge? Or do you feel like maybe revenge, a lot of these shows like to show us that, revenge is not always the best answer. Maybe forgiveness, but then it wouldn't be an entertaining show if all the characters had that level of maturity. So what would you guys like to see? Of course, there will be more content like this in the future, so make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'm really loving the engagement. You guys are hilarious in the comments. Keep those coming. Like, I woke up this morning to some of the most craziest comments, especially on my Mizrak and Olrex video. Like, you guys are unhinged. but I'll be unhinged with you too. So keep those comments coming. Like I said, it's my commitment this year to just keep content coming as consistently as possible. I'm also going to start gaming. I play Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I did a test drive last night, just to make sure that my mic settings were good, but I would like to go live, like streaming that twice a week on YouTube. I haven't decided on the dates, but it'll probably be like either on a weekday or like one day on the weekend. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, stay tuned for that too, because there's just more content. I just want to be more engaged with you all and just to be my authentic self. So until next time, you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.